Why, hello everybody. It is me, Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered. That's right. I'm myself am right here and now. That by any chance is that yes, it's time, everybody, that we, on the other hand, are going to be starting to be announcing is called Super Mario Sports Mix in part 1. So, this video, I'm about to just announce. And just remember, when I start part 1, part 1's gonna happen. So, as I was going to do and say so, that yes, apparently I probably am going to say that I'll definitely announce part 1 when I get the chance. And yeah, so you guys are probably seeing this right now that I'm actually going to probably be like making this video apparently just on the whatever's going to be like, what number it's going to be on exactly is that, yeah, it's definitely me announcing about me talking about like, oh, about part 1 and all other stuff of the sports and stuff, which is going to probably be a bit easier and smooth likely, I think. So, before I could say any the more of the continuations, is that I hope you guys do again enjoy this video. And remember the 4 things you guys might as well gotta do now is like and comment and subscribe, hit the bell to be notified. That way, again, you guys will not miss a single video that comes on the channel. So anyway, yeah, so anyway, what I was gonna say right now, that yes, part 1 apparently is definitely happening. And oh, speaking about part 1, I still haven't forgot right now that I have not forgot about like pretty much about my lyrics about Friday Night Funkin'. Yes, I still again am attending to plan that still and continue on with the lyrics that I'm still continuing on right now. Which, trust me, I got most of the lyrics done. But all I'm doing right now is just doing the lyrics only about weekend 1 right now. So I just got 1 out of 4. I just got like 1 out of 4 right now, which I probably am going to continuationally do 3 more exactly of those, and then it could be finished. And as in for like the Pico updates about the lyrics, no, I have not gotten to that yet. Which even if I did, that's probably going to be a long discuss. That's going to probably be a pretty much long talk about it, and see what I'm going to go on with, and make that as what I was going to discuss, which I was discussing about, which I meant saying that part almost for a bit of 2 times or maybe 3, but you know, pretty much discussing about like the updates of it. Well, I have not made the lyrics of that yet, which right now I haven't got to that yet. I'm only just dealing with like whatever remains left of the story mode and just finish most of them as I can and see where that goes. And just see how the lyrics do exactly, which I did properly tested them and they're actually pretty good. You know, I just try to find lyrics, try to find roasts that could probably go from either side. That's on like this side or that side. I'm trying to actually like build up any chance to build and just see where I can do the lyrics better and just see where I can do most of them. Which, like I said, is it always going to be a bit perfect? Well, the answer is on the chance of 80 or near 70 or 60% of pretty okay with seeing how good it is or whatever. But just remember, it's only my voice of voicing the characters, which I did say last time, so I still didn't forget. Which apparently I still haven't forgot about. And for the only interesting questions that I probably would say right now about the interesting question is that I actually am thinking a lot lately still with like the ideas with the gaming that I can continue to do. That yes. Also about Financial Warriors, by the way, I was also going to discuss by any chance again, is about like the second game. Clearly about Financial Warriors 2, I have not played that game yet, which, oh my gosh, I was like, bro, it's been so fucking long. Like, trust me, it's true, it's been literally that long just to discuss about that one. Which, about Financial Warriors 2, I really had never fought to the day, or pretty much say the old saying is by saying it's like, Man, I thought I never seen the day actually starts to pretty much likely ever be gone before I could ever say is like for whatever to that moment is I have not had recently played Final Warriors 2 for so long. Like I've not really played that game yet, which I was going to definitely turn down the plan and just say is like, oh my goodness, I could not believe I was gonna say that. Oh my gosh, Final Warriors 2. I'm totally in. Like, I'm totally gonna be in to play the game. Like, I really will. And also, the only problem with that, again, with the problem, is about, like, ooh, the new mechanics, the new everything else, new security office, no doors or anything. All I pretty much have to do is just use a generator and just, like, fully turn it on and just not do anything like, oh, there's gonna be like some thunder exactly that I might be encountering, like the thunder ambience, or pretty much like the spooky hallway that appears on for a few seconds, flick exactly for a few minutes until which one of the Final Wild characters starts to move a little more silently different, as I never probably will expect the encounter to have it a lot more, let's just say, spookified. A lot spookified. That probably would be very highly spookified indeed, which probably is so. Now, am I going to probably be the only one being surprised? Well, the chances with that is pretty different, that I would say, to be honest. That, yeah, it's pretty much like that. It's pretty much like that. So, that's just all I want to say. Much likely in retrospect, for some people, for some bit of retrospect, that yeah, pretty much for what's ever gonna happen about like, oh, like what's gonna go on with like Final Warriors 2, that yes, again, I'll play that game and will have that time to play it, which also, like I still said briefly and mentioned either way, that yes, I did move pretty much likely Comcap versus Marvel Infinite, like 2 more games forward a little bit, just to move them a bit back, which means I did meant to say I moved the game backwards. I moved it a bit back, so that way I could probably have some time while actually returning the vibe and actually finally, and I mean finally, doing the request to finally, and I mean finally, just to bring some revive enjoyment, to bring Finance and Warriors into life again. The very old time I've ever played Finance and Warriors was like so freaking damn long. Like hell, I even played the game for so long that I couldn't believe that it's like literally been ages. Like it's just been definitely some ages I had ever will witness. And as it for like that, by any chance, that yeah, I'm still again going to play Final Warriors 2, which I totally will play the game. And then, as another retrospect about like the next game after that, well, I'm actually still thinking a lot more personally, that I'm still thinking a little more about like, with the whole fact with whatever's going to be happening with like, the other game that I probably am thinking about, as long as there's going to be a non-part game that doesn't involve with numbers, which probably still wouldn't involve numbers. So yeah, I probably am thinking right now and just says that, I'm just going to go for Steam, pretty much likely literally most of any of the games I've never even constantly like played for a bit of a long time in a while. Or even hell, I probably would check on like, for some of the games of the collections I've already caught exactly before, exactly I've already previously got from Game Troll, or pretty much likely added the numbers from 1 all the way to the different number. Like first one means it's going to be played. The second one means next. The third means in the later pile. Which I probably am thinking those names very much likely the folder names of the games that I probably am still going to say again, that I'm actually saving up a lot more perfectly, that I'm saving up. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of tricky names that I might have to find and just go on with the loop and just see which game could I still continue to play, while beforehand that I could probably get to the only game about Comcap versus Marvel Infinite, which I probably still will play the game and still have not forgot about it, even though that things are going to probably be a bit different right now as in for late. So yeah. And then the real question about like Mortal Kombat, about like the only question about with like Deadly Alliance or Deception, well, that by the way, like I said, I've always have like kept that in mind exactly for a while. That I'm gonna have to look on some research about like just about with like just looking to see what the old previous Xbox is. That actually involves actually having the older previous version that actually works for Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance or even hell Deception. That one of those ones could work. Which, like I said, I'm not the only smart guy that probably will figure out a little similar, I guess, to know about the similarities of going on with like the old games for like the longest time of the generation, of the longest since like the old Xbox games that had still now had existed or for a lot long exactly, which it's a mystery to some reasons, which it's probably much likely many reasons to that. So that there, my friends, will take its time of its use and just of its time, I think. So that's just all I want to say, and that's just probably what I always want to say right now, that I actually am still attending to see where all this is gonna go. So that's just what I want to say. And then, as if for another fact, basically for another fact, that well, after if I do play Mortal Kombat, Deception, or Deadly Alliance, which I still will do that, if I play the games, then yes, it actually will count as a part video. But if it doesn't work, it means I'll actually will put it on a later list. That means I'll put it in a later, which means it'll take a longer delay to have that out. Which, again, I know, very much. Which means I might have to think of a new idea to see what I can try to make up for, like, the only ones I could make up about, like, getting the next gaming out and then just have it all out. That way, it'll just be done. Like the last gaming I'll put, it's just going to be finished. I'll still continue gaming. Trust me, I'll still do gaming. But when I say I'm going to put that in a hold, it'll actually mean I'll put that in a hold for it to, like, wait. And just put it on a hold for a stop. It'll just be on a stop. Like what anybody else would do. In that similar time, I would say. Now, so that's just what I want to say, and that's just why I want to give everybody's retrospect and just fully understanding and fully aware that, about pretty much with the 700 subscriber special, no worries, I'll still have that in my mind exactly to have that out. It just will get like the Five Nights at Freddy's season all prepared and ready for the voice boxes, for everything else of their episodes. I'll actually will consume and will have that started and fully properly get it very much likely ready for that time. But we're a little close, that we're actually a bit close to get that in somewhere, but like I said, it's just gonna actually be the same thing as a little bit of a slow until I say we're gonna be like getting it out. Then it means it's gonna be a big one, a very good big one. But right now, it's just in a wait, which means I'll just have to put it in a very much waiting list for have it to be completely in the roll and in its works. So that's why I want to give it for you, everybody, for its full understanding for that time right now. So I want to say this is, if you guys are so ready for me to play Mario Sport Mix for the Wii, which I'll totally be excited to play part 1, and I am ready to play that game. So that there, my friends, is going to be a very good journey to play the game and see how all of that will definitely come around. So with that being said, thank you guys for once again enjoying this video, and yeah, so that's all I want to say. And also, the lights are definitely out because I just didn't want to turn them on because, you know, I pretty much do get the Mario nightlight anyway. I just have it on exactly right now since I probably am feeling like it to have it on, so whatever. Anyway, yeah, with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, in the next time, and you guys will definitely see part 1 coming out very soon, like really soon, if I ever will try to have it on board. And also, the real true question is do I have the thumbnail ready? The answer is to that is yes. I do have the thumbnail for that to be totally ready. You know, I actually will select a sport that I can actually pick to see what it actually would be very good to pick about. You know, just to see what the first sport's already been about or like to look at that. So, that there, my friends, we're just gonna see. So, in that chance, we're just gonna see. And oh, get this by the way that, oh yeah, after when I still did mention about like, you know, just with the third channel and stuff, just like for whatever, basically by any chance. Oh, let me explain that for a 1 second. And then we'll switch on back for many other things that we'll just switch back. And then for like yada yada yada, we'll switch back and stuff. So, anyway, yes, it is definitely clear, 100% clear. I will definitely be sure to actually have that video ready. For what reason it will be, like, it'll just take its time, take its use, and if it's time, like I've mentioned last time, and then for other things I've really mentioned last time, about like, oh, about my reboot. You know, just getting like my third channel's reboot started, and just, you know, just wait for an answer of YouTube, just still, again, give it back to me or something, or whatever, because basically, again, I've just been pretty much likely, been just chilling the whole time, and just kind of waiting for whatsoever, but, you know, we'll just see. And as I said again, that yes, I'll still try my best and see what I can do, and hopefully things, like I said, are gonna really hopefully be sure to fix things around, and also just get to realize that it was completely a total error, a complete big mishap, and big misfortune exactly been missed by missed, which, again, what I was also meant to say about my third channel's wrongdoing was that it just didn't do anything wrong completely. I said again that I will say this time now, and then the other video as well, that I actually am still intending to have the last chance thumbnail already set to be in the set mark, that I've already will actually think that already. So one last time, that if anybody doesn't or has clear got the message I've already said already, is that yes, again, I literally do the voices of those characters. The Angry Birds, the Pigs, Pac-Man, and the Ghosts, and then finally was a character that did showed up for the third channel, which people were actually going to pretty much enjoy about, was Captain America. Like, very much. If anybody didn't get that, also that clear heads up for that either, which was also going to be a good thing to happen, but nope, it just got tossed away like nothing else didn't really freaking happen except Iron Man for my second channel recently, just for pretty much. But it's just pretty cruel, which was stupid, which it's still going to be so, and yeah, so again, that's just what I want to point out and just say for the fact, for some reason, so whatever. Anyway, yeah, like I said, yes, the chance, like I said, I'll still do it for you guys. I'll still do the second chance, one last final chance to do the reboot. Like, if it still continues doing its success, which I'm actually wanting to let you guys know, if like, if my third channel's reboot makes a very good success, I'm actually going to be very much likely happy for that. If it continues the good success or the same success in a different format matter. If it actually makes a very good success, I will continue making those videos happen. You know, it's only about Angry Birds, Pac-Man, or any Pacific character that shows up completely different. And then, as in for that example, if it does continue making that success, I will continue making videos for that someday in the near future, and then very much more good conclusions and very much of its big success that you guys might be and very much likely interested onto. So that's just pretty much what I want to say about if it makes its good success. But if not, it's game effing over. It's completely game effing over. And also, by any chance, if it's gone, I actually will be pissed. I'm not laughing. Just when I say I'm not laughing, it means I literally am not laughing. Because if it really goes on for that again, for the same shithole again, trust me, I will make a sad video for everyone. You know, just a pretty much like a funeral. Yes, a funeral. That's what I meant to say. A funeral. You know, just pretty much give my voices of my characters is reactions to the channel of my third and then its reboot. I'll definitely be sure to make a full video out of it, and will say for what just really happened. You know, for the very much likely the stupidest nonsense ever. So, just want to give that a little bit of a interesting fact, or a little bit of like a bit of sad news just for that right now. So, just want to give you that as a reason, and just want to give you guys that as a thing by any chance. But, you know, just want to let you guys know that I have to be very extra careful for whatever things are going to happen, or if it will be unexpected or whatever, that, you know, I might have to pretty much likely be very aware and prepared to know what's going to happen. So, I actually am going to be serious. I'm not going to play around. And even if it means I have to take immaturity very seriously, or mature very serious and other stuff, then yes, I will have to take it serious as a very serious force that I will not play around. Trust me, I've been very serious in my whole life, which even if I do like to make jokes sometimes, for very much likely for good moments for people that actually do love my content and a lot more, it means I just really want to like continue making great things in the future and just really much more. So yeah, if anybody just gets to the point of that right there. So anyway, let's just switch back and get to the point about like back to the game, and just get to the point of how I'm going to do part 1. So okay. So in part 1, I'm going to say this in part 1 that I actually will say this right now. Is that okay? So, by any chance of the thumbnail, I will say about the thumbnail is that, okay, so the thumbnails, pardon me, so, about the thumbnails, right now that, yes, the only games of the sports I'll play is basketball, and then hockey, and then volleyball, and then for last, dodgeball. Yes. So there's 2, or should I say 4 sports that there's going to be 4. One's going to be basketball, one's going to be hockey, one's going to be volleyball, and then finally dodgeball. Those are going to be there's going to be 4 sports. There's going to be literally 4, which means there's going to be in 4 parts. That'll also include, there will be a part 5. So, in this conclusion for part 5, okay, so about part 5, it's going to be in a very much likely of part 5, and here's an explanation how part 5 is going to work. So, part 5 is going to be a combination. It's going to be in a combination of 4 sports, like literally 4. Basketball, hockey, volleyball, and dodgeball, they're all going to be included, which I'm going to play all of the sports in part 5. But just remember that there's just going to be half, and half. Which means whenever I do part 1 from part 4, it means I'm going to play the sport once. And then I will do it twice for part 5, which means I might actually just choose the difficulty just to kind of give myself a challenge. Which sometimes I just may want to give it a challenge, and just sometimes I may want to, or just may not want to do a challenge for that reason. So it only depends about difficulty standards, just difficulty CPU players at the number of easy, normal, or hard, or even master, which I don't probably know how all of that's going to play, but we'll see where all that goes. And plus, I'm going to be the one choosing a sport that I could probably go through and just pick whatever I'm going to choose randomly. So, again, when there's going to be something chosen differently, then yes, I'll definitely choose what I got to choose and just see where all that goes and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the fact of it. So, anyway, thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. And also, I will say this is thank you guys once again for saying so, and for otherwise that yes, it's about time that we're definitely going to do the announcement, which this is definitely the announcement right now that you guys are going to totally enjoy for much greatness and a lot more of sports, and just see how the Mario version of sports is going to turn out, which it's just going to be amazing, and I'm going to love it, and hopefully that there's going to be some good moments out of it. And hell, I might do a voice if I ever want to. You know, it'll just be the same old Mario voices from the same thing and the same old who exactly. So I probably would give it a good go out of it. So that being said, gotta say like otherwise is remember the 4 combinations and 4 things, which I mean saying 4 things. Nice. Pretty much give myself a pat on the back. Okay. So, do 4 things I gotta say is please be sure to give this video a like, and comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified. That way, again, you guys still will and not miss a single video that comes on this channel, and for much more. So, that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and for much more, and a lot more great things to continue on ahead and forward. So, after this is over with Mario Sport Mix, then Five Nights at Wario's 2 is going to be next. And then the only question about how Gmod's going to go for me, well, Gmod. Yeah, Gmod. Well, let's just say Gmod. It's just going to kind of be an interesting fact and a little bit of an interesting thing I probably would do, or probably would think of something a little more. But yes, Gmod for some reason that yes, it's been a while. Trust me, it really has. I probably would say for the last that it's been a while that I've never even got to do Gmod videos in my channel recently. Because due to the lack, I have to do a lot of stuff right now. So I probably will tell you guys about how I will think about doing a Gmod video somewhere in the future. Or maybe somewhere right now, or maybe not. But you may never know in a certain at the center that it might just take its pleasure. So yes, Gmod for some reason that yes, it's been a while, for so many decades, that ever since I've ever made like, oh, it was pretty much likely the zombies one that I pretty much had to encounter, or pretty much likely a little different. So I probably am going to think about that again, and may actually will think about putting something more interesting than the next. And also, I do have more zombies by any chance. I do have more of them in Gmod, for example, that yes, I do have that upgraded, and hopefully will get that in a procedure, which all I gotta say, it's just gonna be a very interesting fact, and for a lot more interesting things. So, let's just jump back about like with Five Nights at Wario's 2. So, yes, that game I'll definitely play next. After the Mario Sport Mix 1, that will actually be right now, and then Five Nights at Wario's 2 will be next. And the second game, I'll think about it. I'll think about it after Five Nights at Wario's 2 is been complete and very much completed. And the question is, am I going to play Five Nights at Wario's 3? That question alone, I probably am not going to. I'm just only going to save it in its folder. That I'm just apparently going to save it in its folder for Five Nights at Wario's 3. that yes, I will still save it. Trust me, I'll still save it like every time, but I always will save it. And the one interesting question about Finance of Sonics, the answer is I probably have never played the first game of it, but oh yes, I played Finance of Sonics Media Mania, and I played it on the freaking stream, and it was actually the best thing I've ever did exactly for a long time, like very much likely the longest time I've probably ever did ever since. Like, that's not all of it, but it's just amazing as it goes. And it really was the best thing I probably would have done and did. And then the question is to myself about that is with how am I going to do Finance of Sonics the first game? The first game is a little bit complex than the original Finance of Freddy's, which is pretty interesting. So I probably would say, shoot, I'll probably go give it another go. And then the only other question is that am I going to play the Ultimate Custom Night, the Ultimate Custom Night, basically by another second chance what I just did for Final Fantasy 6, for like the return? Well, the Ultimate Custom Night, let me just tell you this. So, the Ultimate Custom Night is good, but the only thing I could ever say about how it was kind of okay was that I just didn't like its damn jump scares. When it startled me on a few different times on my streams before that I recently did, that oh my god, it really freaking jump scared me in a different certain way that I'm like, what? How did I not even get the right thing? Like, how did I not do that? Like, that's a very interesting way to encounter something that I never even encountered before, which, yes, they might still remain the same, but different mechanics about most of them. Like, yeah, the only ones that were so annoying was freaking pretty much likely, yeah, it was pretty much likely the character from FNAF World. About the character was like, pretty much the character like could have almost remembered, but I probably didn't almost remember. Like, it was so annoying. Oh yeah, it was Dee Dee. I forgot it was Dee Dee. Or maybe or something like that. But the character really freaking annoyed me after summoning some characters. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you got to seriously be kidding me. I just told her to shut the frick up. Like, it still continued talking before I literally had to go on a freaking long time looking on the damn monitor for a few minutes. Like, to just keep looking. That's just what I did. Like, that's barely what I just did by any chance. So, whatever. Anyway, that question alone, I might consider and say that, yeah, it'll probably be a close one. It'll be a close call for having it to be on the second one, I think, after Final Wars 2. And then I'll still think about the other game. I'll still think about whenever I could look on the folders or whatever I could look on. Or maybe just my previous Wii games or just Wii U games, Xbox games that I might be looking through and just look through most of them. But the 3DS and the Switch probably are not going to count, which they are going to be a little trickier for me. Just to say is like, oh, I might have to do a video. Like, I might have to like pretty much add the gameplay of the video of it. Like, it's going to just involve two problems that it's just not going to kind of work, actually. It's just kind of not going to work. I mean, I'll still play the games off recording. Trust me, I'll still do that. But the problem is I just basically can't record it because it's just like, oh, the camera's like, the way how the camera is going to like interact with something that's not going to probably just work decently, not great. But, that's just me talking. That's just me how I'm talking for the fact of it. So, yeah, that's not going to work. It probably is not going to work. So, again, I'm probably going to say this is thank you guys for your waiting and patience until part 1 is released. And however, it'll probably be released until the fact of the end of April or the continuation of April. So, we'll see. We'll see if I'm going to be in a good mood to do part 1, which I seem to still be in a good mood. But you guys, again, may never know what happens with me whenever I just pretty much, like, end the video and do whatever of, like, pretty much, like, real life things I gotta do exactly. before so. But anyway, the good question is, hope you guys are really excited for how I'm going to start kicking butt in the very much likely part 1. And yes, the only question is, am I going to pick my boy Wario in part 1? Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. And it doesn't mean I don't hate Wario. I've always still liked Wario. Even if I'll even pick him, I probably will have a sense of a different wild card for whatever I'm going to pick. For whatever's fair. You know, whatever's going to be the fairest of all. Of most character selections. That I can select either like 3-on-3 or 2-on-2. That I could barely just go for. And then there's the only thing that basically that just doesn't allow you to do is just do 1v1. It probably is going to not work either, since I know it's just going to be in doubles and trios, which there's just going to probably be a very fact of it, so that's probably the basic of the standard. So, that's all you guys got to know, and that's just all you guys got to probably figure out and know why, so there you go. Anyway, enjoy you guys' day, and enjoy you guys' very much likely great night, and I'll see you guys again in the next video, and for much more questions, yeah, I'll definitely see you in the next video. So anyways, again, I am Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered. We'll definitely see you in the next video, and then in the next time. And oh, hold on. I was going to think of something. Okay, before we get off, and before we constantly get off, and definitely just end the video from there, and thank you guys very much for enjoying my speech of the announcement, how I'm probably just making the announcement as I go, and just fully directly talk and just like know what I'm gonna do and just talk about most of them. And yes, the Friday Night Funkin' lyrics of my work that I'm gonna do of my lyrics is still being in progress. That it's just doing it very nicely and very well. That, you know, after I finish with weekend 1 of its lyrics, I'll definitely finish it up, and hopefully it could be a good one. That, you know, I'm just only coming up with lyrics, roasts, burns, and then much likely in every single one that I will have to come up with in every single direction of it. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be sure to say this, that I will say this, and Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered, and oh, by the way, and also, by the way, I'm going to say this, that I am definitely going to change my profile pic. You know, I'm just going to, like, originally return it back to say it's going to be Devin-Foxy Remastered again, but it'll only just be in human form. Just in human form of my OC. That just remember that I am definitely going to be changing it back to Devin-Foxy Remastered, but it will actually just be in a human version. And also know, gaming and reactions are not going to count that as that it will not count. It's only just going to be its one last time of it, which is just going to be the standard of the fact of it, that it's just going to be one last time of the human form, which that's probably what I will say, that it'll just be the last time I'll do it. It'll just be the last time of it, and then it'll be finito. So, that's just what I want to say, just to let you guys know in a sense of a very much understanding, and very positively understanding, that it's going to be changed differently. I'm not saying it's going to be immediately right now. I'm just saying that there's going to be, like, in a few different certain videos exactly, a few more forward, that I will make that decision. Very much likely the decision I'll change the name of the profile pic to saying is called Devin-Foxy Remastered, but it's going to be in a human form version that you'll see right there. And no, it will not count, as to say it will not count to be involved with pretty much reactions, gaming, or considered anything at random, and possibility at random. And also streams is going to count as well. It will count, except the parts I said from very much likely from all the way after I said about streams, about like live streaming. And also live streaming actually does count for the human form. Yes, it actually will remain to count. But That's all I will say right now. And very much likely directly right now. So, thank you guys very much for your stay, and thank you very much for your enjoyment for the next, like, I don't know, for the 40-minute mark, or maybe at the mark that you'll see at 50, or an hour, or whatever it depends on it to be. But, you know, even if I'm wasting a bit of time, or just wasting a bit of the time to the point that even though I might have to talk a lot things, then that's what I was here to talk about. So, that being said, I'll see you guys next time. And don't forget, I'll see you guys in part 1 with the very game I'll play for the Wii version of the sports. That I'll pick either with, like, from 1 to 4 of the sports. About basketball, hockey, volleyball, and dodgeball. And then part 5 is going to be in a very combination, altogether combination. That, you know, there's going to be chances if I lose, it means I actually will add up the chances that I will select myself to do and say, like, oh, I gotta select which number I gotta pick. Like, you know, what number I should do before I probably don't lose again. Which if I do lose, it means I might have to add a chance up, or maybe have to add a chance that remains down and just says, like, oh, it might have to be finished and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, alright. I'm going to get off for real. I'm going to definitely say so one more last time, is that yes, I'm Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered, and I will see you guys in the next video. And please remember, like always, is like, and comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified. Thank you. Anyways, see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody. See you next time. And see you in the next video. And while then, you guys could probably still continue watching my content. You guys can definitely watch my separate channels while I will actually remain to make part 1 very much happen and get it started and get it all started perfectly at 100% perfect. So, anyways, it doesn't have to be perfect sometimes, but it just has to do what it has to do. But anyway, that being said, see you guys in the next video. And yes, live streaming is going to count about the human version, about the human form, that it will actually still remains to count. You know, it will actually remains to count. So, that being said, see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody. Peace on out of here. And also, if as in for real Devin-Foxy fans, go ahead and absolutely subscribe. Fake fans of mine definitely need to leave. You know, if there's a fake, get out of here and leave. So, that being said, thank you. See you next time. And just as in for that fact, see you in the next time. Peace on out of here. Bye-bye, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.